Hey everybody, this is a clip from the latest episode of The Randy Rhoads Show. If you want the full episode, you can watch live on Free Speech TV, Dish Channel 9415, DirecTV 348, Sling, Roku, and Apple TV.
Mary had a little man.
The fault. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today. Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randy Rhoads Show.
Turn up your mind.
Like Elizabeth Warren. I did the Pocahontas thing. I hit her really hard. And it looked like she was down and out. But that was too long ago. I should have waited, but don't worry. We will revive it. It can be revived. It can be right? It will be revived. And it can be revived very easily and very quickly. And we're going to have some fun in the state of New Hampshire.
He is a sick, twisted freak. So that was him in New Hampshire at the rally, calling Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas, saying he did the Pocahontas thing too early. All right. So he says he's going to revive it. Here's Tucker Carlson last night.
Their first woman of color, which is ridiculous. But nobody laughed. As I always say, she's the whitest white since Frosty the Snowman fell in a vat of whiteout. You can't get whiter. So she is someone who
She's Cory
has
Booker
committed.
level. Yeah, no, I agree.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
no, exactly. But here's the thing. I think Trump did her a great service by making her a laughingstock on this issue.
You see how fast that can happen? You just, if you're Donald Trump, you pick up a phone, you call your propaganda station, and you say, I want to revive the Pocahontas thing. I did it too early. I need for you to go on there and not only insult her and call her the whitest of white, but also call Cory Booker white. That was the little joke they were trying to make. That was Tucker Carlson going, yes, she's Cory Booker white. Exactly. This is a sick channel, and this is a sick presidency. Now, I will tell you, he just had another little, I don't even know what to call these things anymore. I guess it was the prime minister of, or the president of Romania was visiting Donald Trump. And he turns it into, something about himself, of course. And he trashed Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib so hard, practically calling them animals. I mean, this is sick and sick. So Elizabeth Warren is Pocahontas. By the way, 12,000 people. This is what's freaking him out. But this is very, very sick and sad. Listen.
And you should see the horrible things that Tlaib has said about Israel. And AOC plus 3, that's what I call it. AOC, just take AOC plus 3. And you should see the things that the four of them have said about Israel over the last couple of years. I mean, Omar is a disaster for Jewish people. I can't imagine if she has any Jewish people in her district that they could possibly vote for her. But what Omar has said, what Tlaib has said, and then yesterday I noticed for the first time, Tlaib with the tears. All of a sudden, she starts with tears. And I don't buy it. I don't buy it for a second, because I've seen her in a very vicious mood at campaign rallies, my campaign rallies, before she was a congresswoman. I said, who is that? And I saw a woman that was violent and vicious and out of control. And all of a sudden I see this person who's crying because she can't see her grandmother. She could see her grandmother. They gave her permission to see her grandmother, but she grandstanded and she didn't want to do it. So that's a decision of Israel. That's not a lot of people are saying that was my decision. That's a decision of Israel. They can let them in if they want, but I don't think they want to. When you read the things that they've said about Israel, how bad, and if you look at their itinerary before they found out, you take a look at their itinerary, that was all going to be a propaganda tour against Israel. So I don't blame Israel for doing what they did. I have nothing to do with it, but I don't blame them for doing what they did. I think it would have been very bad to let them in, including The four. I'm talking about all four. But these two that wanted to get in, Omar and Tlaib.
Okay, he's a dangerous guy. Let me just explain this to you real quick. If Israel loses its reputation as a free and open democracy, and it only counts on Republican support from right-wing lunatics like Donald Trump and evangelicals, then Israel is in big trouble. Big trouble. And for him to trash these two women, I'm going to play you what Rashida Tlaib said and why she was crying, and you can decide whether or not the president was telling the truth about why she was crying.
Growing up in a city that has been at the center of many social justice movements for civil rights, labor rights, and equality, and absorbing those lessons has shaped who I am today and drives me to push for peace and justice for the Palestinian and Israeli people. As a young girl visiting Palestine to see my grandparents and extended family, I watched as my mother had to go through dehumanizing checkpoints. Even though she was a United States citizen and proud American, I was there when my city was in a terrible car accident, and my cousins and I cried so she could have access to the best hospitals, which were in Jerusalem. I remember shaking with fear when checkpoints appeared in the small village of Bet Or el-Foka, tanks and guns everywhere. I remember visiting East Jerusalem with my then husband and him escorted off the bus, although he was a United States citizen, just so security forces could harass him. All I can do as my city's granddaughter, as the granddaughter of a woman who lives in occupied territory, is to elevate her voice by exposing the truth the only way I know how. As my Detroit public schools teachers taught me, by humanizing the pain of oppression. Our delegation trip included meetings with Israeli veterans who were forced to participate in military occupation. They also desperately want peace and self-determination for their Palestinian neighbors. They could have shed light into injustices of raids, shootings, demolitions, and child detention. The delegation would have seen firsthand why walls are destructive, not productive. They could have asked the people in Bethlehem how walls cut people off away from economic opportunities, from a way to live, and do psychological damage that lasts forever. All I can do as her granddaughter is help humanize her and the Palestinian people's plight. I know that when we can finally see them as deserving of human dignity, everyone who lives there will be able to live in peace. It is unfortunate that Prime Minister Netanyahu has apparently taken a page out of Trump's book, and even direction from Trump to deny this opportunity. And yes, while folks are shocked that this happened to us, but today we will hear from folks who will help show the reality for many who have been barred from going into Israel, not to be even able to reach the Palestinian people. They are fellow Americans who cannot visit their families or their loved ones. They should be all of us should be deeply disturbed. All of us Americans should be deeply disturbed.
So that's what her visit was about. Her visit was about, exposing some of the horrors of being behind a wall and being cut off from the cities of Jerusalem and the promise of a democracy that is the country of Israel. And so she wanted to go over there, and she wanted to, and I got to tell you that she wasn't crying because she couldn't see her grandmother. She was crying because she understood that even as American citizens, if you are Palestinian, when you go there, you have to go through checkpoints. But here's the point. The President of the United States is building the most virulent anti-Semitic coalition in this country that I have ever seen. Yes, we've always had white supremacists in this country, but I have never seen it reach so many young people. I have never seen the kinds of swill that I see on the internet, that I see on 4chan and 8chan, and yes, I go there, and Reddit and Gab and Stormfront and all of these. This man, this President of the United States, has the stink of anti-Semitism all over him. He has tweeted out Hillary Clinton, a Jewish star, and money. He retweets anti-Semitic stuff. He supports some of the most hateful legislators we have ever had, the Steve Kings of the world. You got another guy out in Washington named Matt Shea. He's training the Christian Army for biblical warfare, teaching them how to use knives and pistols and rifles, endorsing hosts of right-wing podcasts that actually are advocating for the destruction of Jews in this country, the destruction of brown people, black people in this country, angling for and heralding a race war. This president has that all over him. He is responsible for all of this. We have these terrible set of facts that show that we are facing connected, radical, online organizing of vicious, white, anti-Semitic terrorists. And he's trashing 2 congresswomen.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
Radio Beacon to Radio Beacon. I have a dream.